And we're back. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is just doing all type of having all
Um,
type of technical
that
difficulties.
that wasn't Mercury retrograde. That was the BS meter. It was getting too deep, so we
Hush your
got
mouth.
disconnected.
Cállate.
Were you
Cállate la
done? Were
boca.
you done, or were you finished, or were you done?
Nah, she was shit.
I was listen. I was just getting started, baby. Okay, was I done? No,
Oh,
sir.
shit. Oh man.
Absolutely not. So back to what I was saying. When most people and yourself, Tariq, I feel, speak of this topic, it's always, well, because I don't want to invest this, and that for nothing. Like, why does the outcome always have to be so pessimistic? But also, even if you guys didn't necessarily maintain a relationship, why can't after the healing is, after you, I guess, separate and kind of heal or whatever, whatever feelings that was there, why can't you guys remain cool? Like, why does the exit always have to be something that's so associated with something negative? Like, just like you said, well, you've spent all that time investing money and all this, and then they just walk away. And also, I don't agree with you saying about the children, about you're falling in love with the woman first and then you're doing for the woman and then you do for the child by default. Like, are they a puppy? Like,
No, no. I said you start off with forming a relationship. It's all based off the strength of your interest in the woman. That's what makes you form a relationship with the children. That's the inspiration to do that. That's the catalyst to do that, is your interest in that woman.
right. So let me ask you this then. If you stop associating with a woman and you became close with her children, would you disassociate yourself from the child or the children if you and the woman are not associated any longer?
That's not that simple. It depends on how long it's been, how long were we in each other's lives. It's a lot of variables in that. It's a lot of variables in that. Like if I was with a woman, let's say 10 years, and the child was 3, now he's 13, and you know what I mean? No, I'll still be in the child's
Right.
life,
That's
of
that's
course.
your that's your kid at that
Exactly,
point. Yeah.
exactly. But if it's like a year or two, or we on some always off and on type stuff, and then a lot of times the mother snatches the child back. A lot of times, so it's variables in that. So that's not just a blanket yes or no question. But like I said, if it's a case where that relationship is actually formed over like 5 plus 10 years or whatever, then nah, that's I'm gonna still stay in the child's life.
Right. Another thing that you said that was interesting to me, however, was women who have multiple children or kind of canceled out in your mind
For being
of being a
eligible to be
potential
a
candidate.
housewife, for being a housewife, candidacy for being a housewife, yeah, she will need to
Okay,
be
so
paying some
in
bills.
your world, a woman is either a laborer or a housewife.
I wouldn't say labor. Like she could have a hustle that don't involve labor, but I'm talking about bringing in finance. If she comes to the table with children, she definitely has to bring in some finance. No ands, ifs, buts about it. She has to carry that load for that baggage that she's bringing in the form of 2, 3 children. You have to bring some finance in. Now, if she comes to the table with no children, and then that could housewife, or paying just the utilities or something like that. That could be an option. But
Right.
you xed out from that if you come into the table with children already. You're gonna have to you got growing children. Them little suckers like to eat. You're gonna have to bring in some finance to contribute to that, or that's coming from their father. Like, but that's not gonna be all on me. I'm not. And then what you're running
This your
to?
fort though. This your fort. You have to financially provide for the fort.
I know, and it's my fort, so that means I don't have to let them enter the fort. If they ain't
I mean,
with that, they
actually,
can kick rocks with sandals on. Because I'm not about to be
Man,
letting
y'all taking me. You keep saying Fort, Fort, Fort. You taking me back to when Snoop was playing
exactly,
Rodney and Baby Boy. He was like,
exactly. And what he do?
kick
What he
that
say
little fort
to him?
over. F your little fort, little Nick.
Exactly, because that wasn't his child.
Yeah, that was crazy though.
That was an extreme. I'm not co-signing that kind of behavior.
Right.
That's an
Yeah.
extreme. But I'm telling you, men don't think of that. Oh, all children are mine, like you said earlier. Ain't no man in the world thinking that. Like, no.
no,
Good
but I
luck.
don't think you can think for every man because see, okay, so I, of course I know my biological father, but I didn't grow up with a close relationship with my father. So my stepfather was in my life ever since I was 7, and him and I are more closer than him and his biological daughter. And he's never, ever. Now my father is able and well. He is nothing physically stopping him from providing for me. But my stepfather stepped up and literally raised me financially wise. He helped my mother raise me. And not once has he ever made me feel inadequate or feel like, I wasn't his daughter or I was a burden and where the hell is my real father and why is he? This man literally never even spoke of
No,
why my father is not taking care of me. He
because
just
that's
did.
an adult conversation. If it was to come up, if it was, and that's a big if, because it depends on. I don't, you brought in your personal family, not to make it personal. I want to take it back general, but in situations like that, it depends on the woman's behavior. If that
Oh,
comes up at
absolutely.
all. So, but if it comes up, you don't address that with that child. No, that the child is innocent. That's an adult conversation. Yo, you need to carry like how this brother ain't contributing at all. You especially if
The conversation with who though? Like who would he be having a conversation with? My father or my mother?
your
Because
mother, your mother.
oh, okay, I got you. I mean,
Yeah,
I can see that
that's an
too,
adult
but
conversation. Of course, he wouldn't come to a 7-year-old child with that. That'd be so. That's just out of line right there.
yeah, no, of course not. But you have those scenarios too, where the child feels like a burden because of what may be being said or what action, like you said, it's different variables. But
And them
All
dudes are
right.
dirt
So,
bags. Like you leave
let,
children.
let, let's cut into what the main topic is, because you know how we could get
well,
into
yeah.
a
Let's do a
subtopic.
recap though, real quick. We're talking about the main topic, which is should the woman be required to pay half of the bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got off into, a sidebar, which Lottie, your position is what, real quick? Lottie,
Say that again.
what's your position on what you guys were just speaking on?
On the should women pay half of the rent?
Half of the bills, but no, the sidebar that you guys were just having about the children and the stepfathers and so on and so forth. Just doing a quick recap. What's your
Right,
position?
right.
Well,
I feel like
the
when you,
sidebar.
mhm.
First off, the sidebar was if she comes into the relationship with children, then
Mm-hmm.
she definitely needs to be contributing finance to the relationship to the household.
Okay, so
That was
that's
the
your position.
sidebar.
Right. That's the opinion. That's his opinion, right?
Okay, now
Yes.
what's your position?
You have to be careful careful the level of poor that you're deviling in when you're choosing the mate that you're choosing.
Did you say the level of horror?
Yes.
Whoa, whoa, back up. I'm lost now. You lost me.
You said the level
So
of horror.
you
So
have to, if a woman is coming into a relationship with children and she wants to be a housewife or whatever and not have to necessarily worry about finances, then she has to consider the tax bracket that the man is in, because you can't expect somebody who stand in front of the Circle K and smoke Black and Milds all day to provide for you and your 2 to 3 children, or more, or look at them as baggage, or more mouths to feed instead of raising a village. So you have to kind of decipher who you're entering into this union with.
well, that's kind of a blanket rule. Period. Whether it's children already in the picture, no children, and I
Right.
think that applies to both sides. I'll say this real quick, then we can get back to the main topic. But a lot of times we just move off of physical attraction and sex instead of thinking about really, can I build with this person? Like, are they ambitious? Does she really rock with me? Does she believe in me and my direction that I'm going? Not, hey, is how fine is she and how good the sex is, or women ignoring, will this brother be successful or be a good provider, or does he just look good? Is he while, like, she like how he look with his shirt off walking to go get his Black and Milds. So she get with him. She ain't thinking about, oh, this brother is walking to go get Black and Mild. She
Wait.
looking at the fact he got a 6 pack.
Good night.
you know. And then what they do in turn is say, oh, I'm tired of, they lump all brothers in that, and then go get an ambitious European. But that's another show for another time. But the should a woman put in on the bills? Yes. Should it necessarily be half? That depends. Like, if it depends, because if she's making 100,000 and the man's making 50, would it be fair for the man to pay the majority of the bills? What I honestly believe in is going off a percentage, like a 80-20, 70-30. You put 80, 70 to 80% in the pot, in the family pot, and 20 to 30% is your personal savings for a rainy day, whatever. And you pay all the bills out of that family pot, all the expenses, the day to day, all that. And you, hopefully, you shouldn't have to touch that 20-30% personal savings. And that's, for emergencies or contingency plan. And then let's say things, God forbid, but things go bad and y'all end up having to dip into the personal savings. Then, as the man, the provider, my personal savings will be the first to get dipped in before my wife or wife. Like, that's what I have in my head of when I actually do, get into serious relationship and really start building with somebody, is just go off percentage, keep it fair, because that's the most logical, mathematically sound thing in my head that I've come up with.
Ooh, child. You got a headache?
No, I'm perfectly fine.
You
Perfectly fine.
know I gotta give you a hard time.
Hmm. So what's your thoughts on that percentage deal?
Yeah, that's not gonna work for me. That's not gonna work for me.
What's the issue with it?
This is the thing. This is what in a perfect world, okay? Because we can chop down like different scenarios and all of the different stipulations. Like, okay, he's a provider, but he's driving on the way to provide, and he gets in a car accident, and his car is totaled out, and he's paralyzed from the waist down. You know.
Damn, it's gotta be all of that to get a brother a break. Okay.
No, this is how extreme. This is how extreme you gotta go, though. This is how extreme you gotta go with it. So
for you to pay half, that's how extreme we got.
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Golly.
This is what I'm saying, though. So it's like, basically, in a perfect world, I'm pretty sure. Now, of course, I'm not a man. There's nothing about me that is like a man. But if I can just think like a brother for a second, I don't think there's any brother on this planet, and I'm talking about upstanding ones. I'm not talking about the shady parts. But I don't think there's any brother on this planet that don't want to really provide for their family. Like, they really want to. Like, it's not that
True.
he don't want to. It's the fact that he maybe not be in a position to, or life, or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the woman's income, or however she makes her money, should be supplemental. You know, it's something that would come into play when all else is exhausted. But in the way that society is in now, and we don't got to run down all of the different things that are attacks, you know.
Are you aware that?
I think, huh?
Are you aware that sisters make more money than brothers do on a regular basis every day?
You sound a little faded away, Doc.
Yeah, I say, are you aware that sisters make more than brothers do on a regular basis?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and there's.
So how can we have this scenario if just based on that alone?
Because that's when being creative, mm-hmm. putting your entrepreneurial gifts into play, mm-hmm. putting your feet to the pavement, and really not using this job as your sole means of income. Mm-hmm. Like, I was going to say, of course, we know how this society is set up with the system and everything. We don't got to run that down, you know, each check by check.
No, we need to sometimes, because sometimes new people are listening. They don't know you. They don't know me. So it's good to at least stop by there and let people know you're thinking about that.
Okay, so we know that we live in the United States. We know that we live in a society that's based upon race and a racial system.
Capitalism.
We know that,
and capitalist.
And capitalism, absolutely. We know that this system was built upon racism, you know, hatred and greed and a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. And we know that there's things like mass incarceration that mm-hmm. is very huge in our community. We know that there's things like, we know that Black women are put in certain positions in corporate America that Black men wouldn't, because of certain stereotypes or
they want you to kiss ass.
Exactly. How they may, you know, I run into brothers in my work field, because I work in corporate America, that are supervisors that are getting pulled into HR, you know, because people are saying they're aggressive and they're scaring them with how they speak. So there's always this air surrounding our brothers with that stereotype in corporate America. So we know that there's different avenues and there's different attacks that play us against one another as a people, as men and women, because there's a constant gender war between us. And so, again, in a perfect world, I feel like if our brothers had a little bit more fight in them as far as providing wise, then our women can, because I really feel like the reason why a lot of our women are so masculine these days is because they've had to take on the role of providing so much and being that go-to and that, you know, the one who's bringing in all the money and the one who is the mom, the nurturer, the this, the that, and there's no balance. And so she is operating out of a level of survival versus living. And so her natural feminine energy is all out of whack. She can't really give you the femininity that you need as a man to balance your feminine side that you have and your masculine side that you have as a man. So everything is out of whack. Like everything is just all unbalanced. And
That's
so
what the men. That's what the men are screaming. Because word on the street is that, you know, the men tired of going the extra mile and sacrificing for a woman that don't appreciate that kind of sacrifice, that won't take into consideration the fact that the deck and everything else is stacked against the brother, and is he got to go out and make the impossible happen every day. And not to say that his burden is more than her burden, but I from what I'm looking at, both sides are catching hell on all ends.
Mhm.
And you know, the sister's not able to get that masculine energy that, you know, that Papa and them, you know, and the uncles, Big Daddy and them from back in the day was able to exude. And you know, the men aren't able to get that same energy that their grandmothers and great aunts and so on and so forth, you know.
Because in grandpa or grandma's day, you
Yeah.
know, that factory job, grandpa had 2 families on the low
Yeah.
off a factory job.
Exactly.
Right.
My granddad
Right.
did.
But
You know.
grandma
Most of our
really didn't
grandfathers
really
did.
care.
Yeah.
Grandma really didn't care because she didn't have to really dip in her personal. She could still go get her hair done, nails done.
Well,
Grandma wasn't worried about
yeah,
getting her
they weren't
hair
worried
done.
about that back then. And that's
She
the other
knew.
thing. Like
That's that diva stuff that was introduced
yeah, the
in the
values were
90s,
different.
man. These divas, that whole diva movement is a big part of that too.
And
And
there's
this
a whole
whole independent woman crap. I'm
Well,
independent.
a
I'm
lot of these
independent.
independent women have raised these sons that they have overly coddled, and they didn't show how to be provide, or they
No, I get what you're
didn't.
saying. I'm just saying, like, what do we do? Because it's like you said, there's a gender war, and somebody keeps inciting, excuse me, the gender war, and a whole bunch of other wars that we got going on in house. You know, and this is a great topic. You know, who should be paying and doing this, that, and the third. And you know, and I'm not trying to end the discussion at all when I say this, but that's why I always come back to, I think we should do what is needed, and we got to find a way to stop being at each other's neck and throat. And because when I hear discussions like this on the table, and this is one that we always have as a people, it exudes fear and selfishness, you know, because you know when you just listen to the tone of it, the one side doesn't want to, everybody's trying to make sure that they're not giving too much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so what they're really saying is, I want to make sure I'm not being taken advantage of, because a bunch of people out here who ain't been raised right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just saw my homegirl. She just cried on my shoulder and wet up my brand new shirt, you know, last night, about some dirty dog that did her wrong. And then, you know, brothers, they seeing sisters, you know, just drag they brothers and cousins and, you know, nephews through the ringer. You know, whether it's just emotionally between those two, or whether they playing with them, playing Geppetto with the children, you know, saying, all right, you know, there's a price tag. You want to see them, there's a price tag on them. You know, you want to be a part of your child's life, there's a price tag. You know, brother paying child support, or not even child support, just he's supporting his children. Let's put it like that. But that's not enough. You know, she need her. You know, I know a brother. You know, every time he want to see his kids or talk to us, he just stopped because her rent would need to be paid. Now this bro was on court ordered child support coming directly out of his check, but every time, you know, he wanted to see his kids or talk to his kids, it was, you know, I need my rent, or she's sending the kids for the rent money or the car note or whatever. And it's like, I'm already paying you Google some money. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yes.
understand we have people having these kinds of experiences, but I don't think the answer is a cut and dry, you know, you got to pay half of everything, or the man should be doing this, that, and the third. Because when you're at war, right, and war has been declared on the people, and we can't see that, then we just need to just go to sleep and don't wake up. But when you're at war, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
That I mean, that's the thing that'd be baffling me. Like, just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like keep your head on a swivel, make good decisions, hold each other accountable. You know, and be understanding of the fact that this shit is hard. It ain't easy. It ain't easy to, you know, to navigate all of this. Hold each other accountable, but like I said, be understanding at the same time and do what you got to do. And I think
Yeah.
if we do that, then, you know, this whole discussion of who needs to pay this, that, and the third will kind of be out the window. Because I mean, when you're at war, like we take luxuries. The men. Let me start with the men first, because I ain't gonna get on the women when I get on the men. You know, we like to go on, men's retreats, and hang out. Men, the strip clubs are doing really well these days. Why? Because men in the strip clubs throwing money. Imitating what they see on TV, imitating the dope boys, imitating the ball players or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So people are spending money on True Religion jeans and things. It's like really though, like are we at that point? Like, I mean, we get into all kinds of topics right now talking about this, but like we're observing each other. The women are seeing the men buy designer jeans and shoes and whips, cars, for those who are not up on what a whip is. You know, the men are watching the women, splurge money on things that aren't even necessary for life. So I think, we all need a little bit of a wake up call and to wake up from the carnival that is, our social system that we were born into. We was born into this. So I think we're wanting to do what's right. We want to set things straight, but at the same time, we're kind of using the wrong format to try to address something that is deeply rooted. If that make any sense.
It definitely does.
All right, that's my 50 cent, y'all.
50 Cent. We got any comments? Any calls waiting? I want to hear what the people think. Because y'all got a lot to say about this topic. I just actually pulled up a Facebook post. A sister that's on my page. Shout out to Lyric. You never know when I may pull one of y'all posts. But the sister just posted about who pays the bills. Couples, who pays the bills? I need answers. And I saw a really interesting comment from a brother in the comments, and he said, if the woman is following my lead and embracing her feminine, then me. If she ain't, then I am ghost.
That's a big factor.
I thought that was
That's
an
a huge
interesting
factor.
comment.
Because that goes back to our first show about submitting and all that. Because if that's another thing too, if you're not gonna be paying any bills, I don't want to hear too much lip either. And
I mean, I think that's
I say
common sense, though.
I'm saying that in a brash way. What that means, what I really mean by that is once I say this is the direction we should go. Now, first I'll say, hey, what do you think? This is what I'm thinking. You can let me know what you think, and then I'll take that in consideration. But once I say this is the plan, this is what we're doing, you need to be just strapped up, laced up, booted up, no nagging, no BS. Like,
I mean, but what if she really don't feel like that is a good decision?
well, she needs to, like I said, she can express that. But then when I said, but if I take into consideration what she says, and I do the math in my head, and I say this is what we're gonna do, she needs to follow that.
And then when your rules that you said don't go through, then you need to go buy her something.
I've already buying her everything. What I need to do then is own up and say, you know what, you were right. Next time we'll do it. We'll when we run into this again, or we'll switch it up and do what you said. That's what I should do, in my opinion. But that's a case by case deal.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that. I like that. And buy her something though, but I like that
okay, sure. I'm gonna let you have that. I'm gonna let you have that. But that's
though.
another thing too, man. Like a lot of times, and see, and what that's a sign of when she won't follow you, but she wants to be the housewife. That's just you just a money move, bruh. In that case, she don't really believe in you or what you're trying to do. You just a money move. She's one of them chicks that's not turning down a date because she gonna eat for free. You know,
That's kind of on him at that point.
yeah, you got a peep game, but I mean, some sisters put on that act very good though, in every other aspect but because how often does that kind of situation come up where it's a major decision and you know what I mean? A lot of times, day to day, major decisions like that ain't coming up. We just going through the daily rigmarole, go to work, come home. She playing her part in that aspect. You sometimes you don't really know till it really hit the fan. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, it's usually signs. There are usually signs
Right.
that, but some good yoni will make your vision get a little blurry. You
You
know what I
know
mean?
what?
But
I'm not
but I
close.
agree. But I agree with what you said, bro. Like, do what needs to be done. Um, at the same time, like I said, I do like my percentage deal, and like I said, as the man, when the person, because ideally you will have chosen a mate where both of y'all are ambitious, and that 80% going into the pot is more than enough for your day-to-day bills, your monthly bills, and you're able to have savings in that to where your personal stash never gets touched. But if it do come to that, I believe the man as the provider should bite that bullet. And we mentioned the perfect world. In the perfect world, we would be entrepreneurs not dealing with what comes with working for European owned and ran corporations. Because we know, you know what I mean, they a lot of times we have to be um, we have to be the best to get by. You know, we got to be bad. We can't make no mistakes. You got to be a bad mofo, you know, as a man, cause you know you're not gonna get far. You're not kissing ass, and they just automatically intimidated off rip a lot of times. You know, so let you walk in there as a strong masculine man, and you're not kissing no ass, and you know your job. Like a lot of
Right.
times they gonna look to get you out of there based off of intimidation and think, oh, who does he think he is? You know, I run into that all the time. I run
Right.
into that all the time. So, you know, at the end of the day,
Right.
you know, you spoke on, you know, these hurdles we got, and you was like, well, we should be taking care, you know, we should be entrepreneurial, and I agree with that 100, 200%, because that's the only way, especially for our brothers that's been in that system, got that F on their report card. Got to get you a legal hustle. It's something. It's some gap in the community that you can fill. We don't need three barbershops on the same block. But it's some
Right.
gap. It's some gap that could be filled. But at the same time, too, it take money to make money. Quit trying to get that sister to get you that studio time. 40-year-old, 40 year old, 40 years old.
Right, and go get you some tools and
Exactly.
get out here and work, brother. People need their
Exactly.
driveways
Man,
pressure washed.
listen,
Businesses
if
need
we
pressure
can see,
washing.
Word.
You know
if
what I'm
we can
saying?
see these, man, if we can see these Mexican brothers with tamales in the damn shopping cart selling them, we can definitely. And I'm starting to see more and more of that, though. I am starting to see more brothers uh opening up businesses,
And sis, that's what I'm saying.
and it's amazing.
Brothers, brothers would always work. You understand? That's the narrative that they want to paint about brothers, that we won't work. Man,
Right,
brothers, that's all brothers do is work.
That's a
right.
fact.
You understand? Even when you a dope boy, and I ain't never been a dope boy. And everybody who know me know I ain't never been a dope boy. But I grew up around the dope boys. You understand? That shit is hard
Definitely,
work.
we all did.
That's
It's
hard
all the
work.
hustle. It's
They
all the
ain't
hustle. Take that money and that same business,
right.
uh, the same way that you put it into your quote your clients or whatever you would have called them. Put that into a business and really go forward with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I got family members. I've seen them easily hustle and make the money in a couple of hours, and I'm just like, you can do this, like Tariq said, the legal way, and put this on the books and really create some generational wealth for yourself. Create a business your children can run when they get older. Have them already running it while they're young so that they can learn the concept of working for self.
Right. And on the flip side, ladies, become more industrious yourselves. You know, everybody needs to be, men and women need to learn how to do something with your hands. You
Definitely.
understand? Need to put your hands in the soil. Everybody needs to learn how to grow food. People,
Definitely.
when I was coming along, and I sound like I'm old now, but I'm not even 40 yet. But I mean, I know how to sew. You know what I'm saying? I can do everything
Yeah.
a woman can do in a house.
Right.
You understand?
Definitely.
So, and I think we should raise our children, going outside and gardening, growing food is not a masculine thing. Women are Mother Earth. So women are nurturers. So women should have their hands in the soil, growing food. Men learn how to fish, learn how to hunt,
Right.
learn how to, make minor repairs around the house, and then
And on
learning.
cars.
And well, everybody don't have a strong Mars in their chart. Just, you're stepping on my toes right now. I don't want nothing to do with a car. Just being honest.
Well, I'm saying like change the oil in a tire. I ain't saying get up under there and take the alternator out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, back in the day when we had Oldsmobiles, General Motors cars, you could change the oil. Some of these cars, You know, they made them where you got to take them in to get the oil change.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, well, tell me how it was in the 40s then. You keep saying back in the day.
Back in the days, man. Yeah.
Hey,
Listen,
nowadays,
cause
nowadays
yeah, so you know
hit
what?
35. You hit 35 nowadays. You an OG.
bro, cause the
Right.
computer sped everything up. You know, we were
'Cause
raised, we didn't have computers, we didn't have cell phones, we had none of this stuff.
computers and bullets.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. So I think it all points back to, like you said, this is a topic where, of course, my responses are generated from in a perfect world. We all know that it's not like that, but I would love for,
It's a standard to reach
because
for.
the general consensus from the women that I speak with and that I've reached out to, and y'all know, like I have like a pretty nice platform on Facebook for these type of topics, and the stuff that I see posted on my timeline. This is what they will want. You know, this is what women will want.
of course.
They don't want to have to worry about the stresses of finances. Like this society.
Oh, we got a caller waiting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hold on a
Let's
second.
bring them in.
All right, caller, how you doing today?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on,
Wait,
brother?
hold on. I'm sorry. Hold up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm calling in. This is Indigenous Carpetone Coin, Antonio Coin.
Okay, Antonio.
Peace and
What's up,
love.
man?
Peace, brother.
Hey, what's up? Hey, I finally got a chance to call in, man. But my phone broke. But what's up, man? How y'all doing?
We're good,
We
brother.
doing good.
Okay. So the topic is what?
We're talking about should women pay half of the bills? That's the main topic.
Okay, so women meaning wifey, what, side chick, what, just in general, or what?
Yeah, okay. So I'm glad that you said that.
Oh wow, you'd open up a whole other can of worms.
No, I'm just,
You definitely have to be specific. So that is a great question. You definitely have to be specific. That we're talking about in terms of somebody you see yourself building with. We're not talking about, just somebody you having fun with.
okay,
If that clears it up.
You and your woman stay together. You and your woman stay together. Does she have to pay half the bills?
To each his own, but if one is trying to build, the sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? It could be he pay everything, but then she cuffing hers, and it's for the house. You know what I'm saying? There's 1,000 ways to really look at it, but I feel like you know that saying, it ain't tricking if you got it. So if you've been blessed to have it and it's just on your heart to do that, hell, I can't down you. But
I could dig that.
so y'all trying to, huh?
I said I could dig that.
Right.
Because
But
if
just
I
to
got
get
$10
a little
million, then of course my woman ain't got to pay no bills. But if she's with me while I'm accumulating this $10 million and she's helping us stay afloat during that time, she's gonna be taken care of and appreciated even more once we do get to that point.
Okay. I feel you. So y'all topics really be on like the relationship end of things, huh?
Not
We talk
necessarily.
about some of everything. But that's just this week's topic. But I guess so far we mostly have been focusing on relationships, but in the future we will be getting into some other topics with history and it's
Okay.
but we're not limiting ourselves to relationships by any stretch.
No, no, I I feel you, and I'm honored because Chris reached out to me on Facebook, and I wanted to get on the last 2 weeks, but it was just, man, my life so chaotic, and you know what I'm saying, I'm going through ups and downs, but I finally got a chance. I seen that y'all have it every 2 weeks, every Thursday, so I was like, man, let me jump on real quick and just show a love. You feel me?
We
Brother, we
appreciate it.
appreciate the
Appreciate you, brother.
support, and we're gonna step it up at least weekly. At least weekly, we'll
That's
be
what.
doing
Hey, yeah. But anything I could do, know what I'm saying, I'm always here, know what I'm saying, and I would like to like those touchy subjects. I'm all about that. Chris, no, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, but this is healthy. You know what I'm saying. Talking about like y'all hitting like a different aspect and have a woman and man view of it. So it's healthy. You feel me?
appreciate that. That's the plan.
Yeah, bro. Anything that's positive and gonna make us as a people more righteous, man, I'm all for it, bro. You feel me? I'm all for it, man.
Yes, sir. Just make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that notification
I am.
bell.
Hey, okay. Y'all subscribe to Indigenous Capitol Coin. I got one video I posted. It's 5 minutes long. You know what I'm saying? It'll surely be appreciated because that's what we need to do more as people. Like, it's disheartening to see that a like and a share is free.
Yeah, I'll feel you.
You feel me?
Yep. I'll definitely check you out.
All right.
Yes, sir. Me too, brother.
Okay. Hey, I like what y'all doing, man. Y'all keep up the good work and don't worry. Don't get disheartened because those numbers are going to come when it's going to come. So just keep pushing forward, y'all. Okay. One love.
Man,
All
I
right, one love,
appreciate
brother.
that, brother. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Peace, bro.
Have a good night.
Thank you, sister. You too. One love, y'all.
All right, one
One
love.
love. Peace.
All right.
Yep. So, but that was a good call. Appreciate that. The best part, in regards to the topic was my man said we talk about a side piece.
Oh my God.
I don't know how we glossed
The
over
brother
that,
got right to it.
but that is a very good point. What does your side piece get? Is that where the uniform commercial code standard
Oh my
of
God.
$40
And you know what?
Oh my God, man.
That's why I have to be a little bit better. I should have asked them, what do the side piece get? Because that's very interesting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Wait
the
a minute,
side
man.
piece.
Y'all like, wow, I feel like I'm from the Twilight Zone or something.
nah, these side pieces be getting everything. What you mean? I've seen side pieces and mistresses, quote unquote.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's not even our culture, man. Like, just think about that.
It
Man,
is now. This you talking about side piece, having a side piece? That is the culture now.
no, I'm saying it was never our culture before. That's European culture, man. You know that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Now it is.
Yeah,
Like nobody bats an eye when you hear people say side piece or now it's side nigga now. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's
Ugh.
crazy. And cats be bragging about having that position.
Yeah, that's not good.
Sad. But
I think he said 3 categories too. I think he said y'all talk about side pieces, girlfriends, wifeys. Like, okay, well, get it popping then.
girlfriend, she just gonna girlfriend is like an as needed thing. If we ain't staying together, but you my woman, it's like an as needed thing type of deal. Hopefully you
No, y'all stay together, brother. Let's. 'Cause we talking about bills. So
yeah, if we stay together, then yeah. Like I said, I got no problem with like I pay the rent, you pay the utility. I got no problem with
Right.
that. And go make me a sandwich.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with your limbs and your fingers.
See, now I need half the rent. I can't get my sandwich. Now I need half the rent.
Wow. See what I'm saying? And see that, and you know what? That takes me into the next thing that I wanted to mention. Okay, because the ownership mindset of women in this patriarchal society. T.I. going to the doctor every year with his daughter and requesting that she sign paperwork to release information saying that her hymen is intact. And in his pea brain mind, that means that she's a virgin.
When you say hymen is intact, dumb it down. You mean that her cherry ain't been popped yet, correct?
that's correct.
Yes,
All right.
exactly.
Thank you.
So just to give a little lesson to the ignorant people, T.I. and everyone else, just because your hymen is intact doesn't mean that you're not a virgin. Okay? Your hymen can become not intact from just like the physician told him, riding a horse, exercising, doing sports. So it's extremely, in my opinion, my humble opinion, which, you can care or not care. I care about my opinion, however. It's very odd. It's very odd because I watched the actual interview and I read the transcripts from the interview. And it was extremely disturbing. Like, it was extremely disturbing to me that he was requesting to find out if instead of just having an open and trusting relationship with his daughter, he requests that information. I don't know. Like, you got, what's y'all opinion on that?
I'll go first on that. I think he's gone, lack of better words, auction her off. It's gonna be a power move, not necessarily sell his daughter, but just like ancient times, when you're joining two nations, two kingdoms, by marrying two families together, just like Isabel and Ferdinand before they ran the Moors up out of Spain, that kind of move, that woman needs to be a virgin. And a lot of times that was proven via a medical examination. It wasn't just, hey, honey, are you a virgin still? Sure. All right. Let me present you to the prince of Zamunda. Nah, we need proof. We need that paperwork. So don't be surprised if you see in the next year or two T.I.'s daughter married to some king or prince of some country somewhere. You know what I mean? And that's what I think the brothers has what he's intending for his daughter. And if that is the case, only problem I got with it is he going public and telling the outside world that that's what he's doing for real.
No, that's not. So, did you actually
No.
hear what he said?
No, I did not. I just saw the headline that it happens. I didn't hear his wording, or I didn't read the interview. I didn't
Okay,
watch the
so I'm just
interview.
gonna read a little excerpt real quick, okay?
Okay.
So he said, "Oh, photo screenshot of it." See,
Boom, boom, boom.
damn. When you thought you have the receipts, but you don't.
Thought you thought.
Oh, here we go. Boom. See? Hush. You thought I was caught slipping? I never get caught slipping. I may trip, but I never fall. Here we go. He said, I put a sticky note on her door that says gyno tomorrow at 9:30. So we'll go and sit down, and the doctor will come and talk, and the doctor is maintaining a high level of professionalism. He's like, sir, I have to, in order to share information. I'm like, and this is T.I. talking, Deja, they want you to sign this so we can share information. Is there anything you wouldn't want me to know? See, doc, no problem. And so then they come and say, well, I just want you to know that there are other ways besides sex that the hymen can be broken, like bike riding, athletics, horseback riding, and just other forms of athletic physical activity.
Okay.
So I say, look, doc, she don't ride no horses. She don't ride no bike.
I knew that was gonna be his response.
Sports. She don't play no sports. Just check the hymen, please, and give me back my results expeditiously. I can't even talk because he's just so weird. Like, it's just so weird. I can't even do it.
Yeah, you know he did.
He said, just check the hymen, please, and give me back my results. Like, dude, are you getting a prostate exam, or is this your daughter's annual check? Like, what? I don't get. Like, that is just really odd to me. Like, now, what you're saying, Tariq, is totally different. Like, this, it's just really odd. Now, because I'm a person that's extremely open-minded, and I love to think of things from all different angles. I still don't see the reason for him policing his daughter's virginity. I don't.
Wow.
I don't. Because when you do things like that to a child, hear me out, when you do things like this to children, you create resentment in them. Number one, I was a young girl. I know this. Number two, Deja's people were commenting about this, of course, on her Twitter. And the comments that she was liking prove that she doesn't have a voice in this. This is something that is forced upon her against her will, against her privacy, and she doesn't like it. So it becomes a situation where it's like, dude, you can't always police your children. You have to just raise your children and know that you raise them in the right way, trust them, have communication with them, and not police them like that. And you just have to trust them. Like, who's to say that his actions don't make her now, start liking women because this traumatic experience, it's so many different levels to this. So, Mr. Wow, what was the wow for? What's the wow factor?
I can't even remember at what point I said the wow, but I just, again, it sounds crazy to us, to some of us today, because we used to this free for all that it's become. Like, it's nothing wrong with that man making sure and wanting his daughter to keep her virginity.
What? But he can go out and make a million songs about how he can want to do this, and that to women. He can cheat on Tiny, 18 times. But, and also, his son that is 15 years old, or I don't know how old, I forget his name. But anyways, on the show, on T.I.'s reality show, his son, I believe he was about 15, 14 when this happened. He came in and they somehow, started discussing that he was sexually active, because he does music and he goes on tours and all this, and he's sexually active. And the way that T.I. handled that versus the way that T.I. handles his daughter's virginity, it really, because I experienced this growing up. That's why I guess too, it really hits home because, I had the policing of my virginity and making sure like I'm not doing nothing. It's just like so bizarre. Like, this not even on my mind. Like, this how like these parents is what's going on. T.I. is what's overly sexualized and terrified that because he's, spread it open like a wide eagle for all these different women and did all these different things that maybe his daughter's going to run into somebody like him.
Oh my God, men don't spread open. The women spread open. But
well, what I'm saying.
So what you're speaking on, it sounds like you're saying
he's ran through a lot of women though. He's ran through a lot of women, and so if you are very loose yourself as a man, you don't like. What is the policing of young girls? What is the policing? No, let me say this though. What is the policing of young Black girls and their virginity and making them like out to be this, or if they and have sex and you think it's cute and you high five them when they lose their virginity or something, when they start having sex, but you police your young girls at the same time you're having sex with a bunch of women as a father. So help me understand that.
I believe you already know the answer, but I'll entertain it. I'll entertain it. I'll take it back again to, like I said, what my thoughts are, the brother's intentions are. When a prince, the prince's side of the family, that's where you're going to join these two houses for a peace treaty to exchange your empire. That's how you can become one.
Oh yeah, you don't have to be royalty already. They can,
Yeah, that's how you can become one.
Meghan Markle's not royalty either.
Okay, so
okay,
I'm gonna let you finish first. Go ahead.
So the prince's side is nobody cares if the prince is a virgin. The prince don't have to be a virgin.
Even the word virgin really speaks to women. It doesn't speak to men. Even the term virgin is feminine.
So, okay, pause for a second.
Yeah, I'm here. And that's I appreciate that information. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Okay. I would like to look into that as well. But what I'm saying is, does anybody care how Deja feels in this situation and how humiliating this is for her? Or is it all about selling your daughter to the highest bidder so that you can be sure?
Again, like I said, the only problem I have with it is that it's public. This wouldn't be an issue. We wouldn't be talking about it. The girl wouldn't be embarrassed. Nobody
No,
would
I'm
be on
not
our Twitter.
saying no. I'm not saying if it's public. What I'm saying is, do you care how this young girl feel? Because the tweets that she liked on Twitter were saying that this was a total invasion of privacy and this is completely overboard. And
But again, that goes back to the common customs. Remember
right, but
the last show.
but what I'm saying is though, let me just finish answering my question.
Go ahead.
My question. What I'm saying is, does anybody care how she feels in this situation? Nobody answered that question. Does anybody care how Deja feels in this situation?
You said, does anybody or do we care?
Yes, us, you guys, and everyone, because it seems like nobody is taking into account how she may feel in this situation, whether it's public or not. Whether it's, let's just pretend like it was never on social media and it was like a family member, and we're just talking about it right now. Does anybody care how she feels as an 18-year-old, in this situation?
Of course, I care how she feels.
I care how she feels, but is it really that traumatic? Is it really that traumatic? It's a medical examination.
Lottie, you there?
It is that traumatic.
So she doesn't go to the gynecologist anyway and have him look at her? When do women start going to the gynecologist?
When they start having their cycles.
So is that traumatic? What's the difference? Is it just because T.I. wants to be privy to the information that makes it traumatic? Or is it the medical examination?
No, the thing that makes it traumatic is the tone in which he's like, for instance, like I'm saying, he's talking to the doctor and he's saying, Deja, sign this paperwork. Do you have a problem with it? No, you don't. Okay. Like, you didn't even give her a chance to say if she have a problem with it. And then he says, is there anything that you don't want me to know? Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. So sign this paperwork. And then the doctor is telling
let me jump in.
Like,
let me jump in real quick, Lottie. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but let me just say this.
Cool.
I find the whole science or realm of gynecology to be disturbing. Personally, the way that it is practiced in the quote way.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's a huge problem. I'm not sending my daughter into the room to have somebody in a white coat cock her legs open and put little metal clamps down there, and it's cold, and they might break the hymen doing that. With all their little tools that they used to experiment on the indigenous woman with, no. And if you don't know about that, that's how the whole realm of gynecology got started as a practice in medicine, is by them experimenting on the vaginas and uteruses, fallopian tubes, and ovaries of the indigenous woman here in America. So, and those would be the quote misnomered African Americans, the black people, blah blah blah. If you don't know that, but yeah, I have a problem with that whole realm. So I wouldn't put my daughter up there for that reason alone. And before people get crazy, I understand that people, sometimes have gynecological issues. But I'm one who believes that things can be handled the natural way. So again, I don't subscribe to, the realm of Western medicines, gynecology and their exams and the way that they treat and deal with, the female body is barbaric. And but I also understand that the majority of people have faith in Western medicine. They have faith in surgeons. And, most of us have been through the school system, and, we go to the gynecologist. They help us, deliver. The OBGYNs help deliver babies. A lot of us are here, with the assistance of an OBGYN. So we have to take that into consideration too, that it's commonplace for a woman to go and get an exam. And if the woman is going, an older woman is going, then a young woman, like you say, when she starts to have a cycle, that's when she starts to go to the gynecologist. Her mom usually takes her, shows her it's not bad, so she's probably used to going to the OBGYN. I think where the problem is coming in at what you're saying is the stress comes on when now dad wants some information out of this visit to the OB, and he actually made the appointment for the specific purpose of seeing if I'm having sex or not. Am I clear? Is that correct?
You kind of was going out.
Oh,
but
man.
You said the problem is basically dad, and then say that again.
I said what you're saying is the problem comes in and the stress comes in with her, where now dad wants some information out of this visit. And by the way, dad actually, made this particular appointment for the express purpose of finding out if I'm having sex or not.
Right. Total invasion of privacy. Like I said, I understand.
But it depends on your paradigm. It depends on your paradigm. And that's what I was trying to get to. Like,
okay, you said it depends on what now?
On your paradigm, your cosmology. Because the Amish live one way, Muslims live another way. You got different people with different, ways
Absolutely.
that they live life. And
absolutely. And I understand that. And I'm just, of course, just like us all, just, giving our opinion. But I am passionate about, because, I don't really care about adults like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, because y'all already at, not YouTube, but just speaking in general, adults are already at who they're going to be, basically. To the children, I'm extremely protective of their psyche and things that could mess with their mental health and stuff like that. And so, because I've been through so many things as a young woman and very similar experiences, I can say that this shit it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. Like, no way that you try to slice it. Like, you do not own your children. You do not. They didn't choose you and come through you as a portal for you to demand things of them. And that's one thing that I really don't like with a lot of parents, and how they, of course, your job is to guide them on things, but
that's what I'm saying. I may agree with you, but the truth of the matter is, go ahead.
Okay, last thing real quick. This whole force thing of you said I'm breaking up?
Nah, you sound clear now.
Testing, 1, 2.
Sound good.
Okay, cool. So it's just the whole force thing of sign this paperwork so that I can check to make sure that you're still a virgin, versus have a healthy conversation about sex, healthy communication about sex with your children, so that, if they do start to decide to have those feelings, they'll feel open enough to come to you and talk to you about that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like
I think you should
when
keep in mind. Go ahead.
I should keep no, say that. I should keep in mind what now?
That we don't have the whole story. We don't know that brother hasn't had that conversation with his daughter. Or are you just speaking in general at this point? Or are you still talking
exactly.
about
And that's true. But I have to, and that's very true. But I have to go by, again, I'm a person of context and intentions. Okay? That's my main point. What is the intention? Because again, I'm seeing on Twitter the tweets that she is liking about this entire situation. She doesn't like the situation. Okay. So what good does it bring if you're doing something to your child that they don't like? Just
wait a minute. Wait a minute, Lottie. Come on now. Come on.
Okay.
Now
doing something.
I understand.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Doing something to your child that they don't like, that's humiliating, all in the name of saying that you're the parent. Like that's wild. Like that's wild to me. Like I don't agree with that. But we are all humans and we are designed to think differently and have our own opinions. So you guys, can give y'all opinion on it.
Well, I just, as a parent of 7 young people, one in college, I'm going to say that you do have to tell your children what to do. You do have to set a standard that they need to live up to. You do have to set boundaries and parameters. And
I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that you shouldn't.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like if just because they don't like it, like for me, it's like okay, that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah,
when I know that what I set in place is for your good. And let me be clear, I'm the kind of I think of myself as a very liberal parent. And if you sat my children down and you went over everything they get to do and freedoms that they've had, they would have to agree. And when they look at their friends or or just look around them, it's like, yeah, we got it good. But there are some things that it's just, look, this is what you're gonna do. I don't care if you don't like it, because this is for your good. Because children are, when we were kids, we were stupid. We didn't know. That's not saying that children aren't bringing something special and divine from the other world into this one. And they do know things that we don't know. They're here to stretch us as well and to teach us some of the things that we don't know. And that usually comes by the process of, rearing them and taking care of them and helping them grow and become, along the way.
Right. Not policing them though.
But you do have to police some children. Like I said, I had 7, so I'm telling you, some
nothing good. Okay, so let me speak for a child like myself then. Nothing good comes from that. Nothing really good comes from policing a child.
But how are we going
like myself?
How are we going to maintain order if
communication and being the living example?
What about when they're a little liar? What about when they're a little liar and they're gonna lie about everything just so they can get their way?
Okay, so was you not a liar?
I wasn't a liar.
Okay, I lied as a kid. I mean,
I'm not saying I ain't never lied.
I don't know no
I'm
kid
just
that
saying I
didn't
wasn't.
lie.
No, we all lied. I'm saying I wasn't a liar. You got everybody lies. I used to watch this show called House, and you say everybody lies, and I agreed with them wholeheartedly. Everybody lies. So you got everybody, and then you got liars. People who just lie when the truth are due. You know what I'm saying? They lie for no reason. They lie to kick it, and they don't even have to. There's some people that just lie for no reason.
Right. So, okay, 18-year-old, just to pull it back, because I don't want to spread it too, because, this is
Yeah.
like a topic where we can get into like so many different variables.
Right.
Just to bring it back to like the T.I. and his daughter thing, what's the benefit of him doing this in this manner to his daughter when she's 18, number one, because he said the thing that he made clear was we just checked it, she's 18 now, and her hymen is still intact, and from the tone of the conversation it seems like this is something that he's going to continue to monitor. So at what point does this become just wild? And you guys' opinion, at what age or whatever?
I'm saying, like, I keep saying, like, I personally don't feel equipped to pass judgment on this man and how he's choosing to raise his family, because like I said, his common customs are obviously.
You gotta give me a little judgment.
But it's gonna be based off of my paradigm. You know what I'm saying? His is
no, don't put it on yours. Put it on the things that I've given you, just the breadcrumbs that I've given you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the breadcrumbs you gave me is gonna be I'm gonna have to measure that according to what I think about it. If I knew more about how he thought and how he was, because I'm still trying to figure out what the end game is with doing this.
Right. And so, okay, the comments, so let me just throw a little bit more nuggets in there.
Hold on,
so,
let me ask a question real quick.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Let me ask a question. Would you have that, or would you have your daughter be Paris Hilton?
So that's the thing too. So why does it have to be such a either or extreme if you're doing your job?
I make the point in extremes to really paint the picture.
Okay, but I get what you're saying. But if you're doing, I don't know. Okay, so let me say this, and I'm gonna ask you guys this question because that's a valid question. So, but let me say this: if we're gonna go extremes, do any of you? Because I don't know, and I know a lot of people because I grew up in so many different cities and moved to different places. I don't know any child ever that was raised, whether it was a 2-parent household or a 1-parent household, on love, understanding, and all of the things that a child needs to fully sustain themselves in this environment, and then deter from what their parents or parent taught them. I don't know no child that was, raised in that type of environment and then deterred from that. So when we say these type of things, I immediately go to the parent. Because I don't know nobody that was raised with morals and respect, and then next thing you know, they busting it wide open on Facebook Live because they want their followers to go up. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? So if you've instilled these morals and you've been an example for this child, why would they turn out to be a Paris Hilton?
Yeah, but we know that's been a struggle in their household. So it kind of what he's doing kind of matches the vibration of, of what the children have observed while they've been being raised, specifically her, because she's the oldest. So she's the oldest, right?
No, they have. So I believe they have 8 children, and of course it's a mixed family. But Zanique is Tiny's oldest daughter, which that's not T.I.'s daughter. She
18. She's been around a long ass time, so she didn't watch her daddy run the streets.
Well,
she watched her mama thought. Like she done seen it all, So, I mean, he's, T.I.'s always been a thoughtful guy, and always been trying to reach towards something righteous.
I will say this: the fact that his daughter is a virgin, and the world knows it.
But that don't mean she a virgin though. Just because her hymen intact doesn't mean she a virgin. And that's what, again, that's the whole point that I'm trying to make. besides the whole controlling thing. That's what the doctor was telling him, but he was not soaking in that information. Bruh, just because you go to the doctor to make sure that your daughter's hymen is intact does not mean that she is a virgin. You can have sex and your hymen can still be intact. You can be born without a hymen. You know, it's so many different variables. The lack of sexual education on his part and the control, it's so many different levels, like the control of it all and just the humiliation. It's
You gotta
just,
control your children. It
you
ain't just
don't have to control
yes, you
anybody.
do. Yes,
You
you
don't
do.
have to control anybody.
You
And I'm
can't just
telling
let your
you,
children do what they
I'm
want to
telling
do.
you, I'm gonna tell you right now, from a child that was controlled, you're gonna create resentment in your children, especially if they're the type of child that I was. You're gonna create resentment in your child trying to control them. You need to understand the psychology of a
Girl,
child.
that's that Aries energy. That's all that is. I got an Aries.
No, you
Look,
no,
look.
no, listen.
Let me
Hey,
say this. Let me say
let
this right quick.
Listen. I talk to a lot of different mothers, okay, and I applaud the way that they mother, seriously, because we all came from dysfunctional mothers and fathers, and so we came
Who's
from
we
that.
all?
Listen, we came from, but y'all
Who's
generation,
we?
you was born in the 80s, we were born in the 90s. I'm saying, so it's a little bit different.
That's what I'm asking. Who's we?
My generation, the 90s babies.
Okay. I don't
The
say.
Pluto,
I ain't had of all that. I ain't have
the
all that.
Pluto and Scorpio generation.
Okay.
You know,
My parents was pretty functional.
So we were raised with that do as I say, not as I do. You know, we were raised with our parents trying to tell us how to be, and we're seeing like how dysfunctional they are, and we're like, wait, how are you gonna tell me not to do this, and you're straight up not being that example? You know what I'm saying? We were raised with that, not giving me the proper information and knowledge that I need, but then police every single thing I do and expect me to just be how you want me to be. At the same time, you're stifling this child's creative ability, all of these different things, and you're not realizing it. And so this is a form of that, in my opinion. And of course, again, we all are entitled to our opinions, but I can say from my own personal experience that my mother and father trying to police every single action that I did, telling me, you know, a young lady is supposed to, you know, not say this and do this and just like this and sit like this and don't talk like this, and, you know, while letting, you know, boy cousins, brothers and all this just run amok and express themselves freely and do what they want to do. It created a lot of resentment and anger. And that's not how you raise a child. That's not how, you don't raise a young girl like that, because you don't want her to be out here being like the women that you've laid down with. Like, what sense does that? Like, it's just the hypocrisy of it all. I don't get it. Like, a lot of y'all men like lay down with women that bust it open here and there, and then it's like you want to police your daughter's sexual life. Like, what? That control your penis before you try to control what she does with her vagina.
All right, let me jump in right here. Now, what does what this man is doing with his penis have to do with his daughter's vagina?
First of all, she's 18.
Exactly.
Him going to the doctor to
No, I'm just
ask
saying.
if her hymen is in the
No.
Okay, so let me
No.
finish, because you asked the question.
I didn't get a chance to get started.
Okay, go ahead. Where's the shots fired sound thing? I need it.
Oh man. So, oh boy. So listen. My thing is, they have nothing to do with each other, right? I'm not condoning. Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm looking at things for how they really are.
How doesn't it though? If
Because-
you know
no,
that you
you know,
are, but this is what I'm saying
She's
though.
still in
If you
it.
no, because for real, I know for a
my
cold
God.
fact. Listen, I know for a fact, because both of my parents, okay, my parents have been separated. So let me just make that clear, okay? And y'all know I'm an open book, so I don't care about, spilling and telling, whatever. Anyways, both of my parents are Scorpios, okay? So you can just imagine Scorpio sons. So you can just imagine the freak level of them at their prime. How dare you not properly educate me on sex when you are literally a sexual being and your sign represents everything that has to do with sex, and then try to police me on if I'm having sex or not, or wait, let me back up, because I don't want that to sound like. Let me back up, because I really don't want it to sound like I'm saying to allow your children to be at sex parties, busting it wide open, and you sitting at home.
But I
sipping
mean,
your
if that's
tea,
what
and
their
like,
sexuality wants them to do.
okay, but this is what I'm saying. Let me back up, because I'm not saying let your children go do this. Also, let's keep reminding, and I'm gonna keep saying this. Deja just turned 18, so him doing this in the tone that he's going to keeping up with if she's a virgin or not in this way is disturbing to me. It is.
Is Deja still living off of him?
Why
Or
do you make it seem like
is she providing for herself?
Is she one of his women or is she his daughter? Because you said that like she's not his child. Or
If it's
he's not.
look, if it's my child and you under my roof and I'm still providing for you,
You want to make sure she
I
a
have
virgin
a
still?
say. I have a say. Just speaking in general, not on just this particular thing. I have a say in what you're doing and not doing. If you want to do whatever the hell you want to do, then you need to go get your own place and pay your own doggone bills.
Yeah,
That's when you can do
that's
whatever
that
the hell
toxic.
you want to do.
That's that toxic old school parenting.
That
In
ain't
my
no
opinion.
toxic nothing.
But how?
If you under somebody's roof,
I mean, I'm
you under your
entitled to my
parents' roof.
opinion, though. I'm
I
entitled to my
disagree
opinion.
with it. I disagree wholeheartedly with that because
Nobody's saying that she's going to be in her room in your quote unquote house making amateur porn videos and then you're just expecting to take it. What I'm saying is, if you're raising a child,
Oh,
how
some
they're
people have
supposed to.
standards for their children though, and they require their children to behave in a
I can't get
particular
jiggy with
manner.
that, and I'm gonna.
No,
And like,
listen, let me finish. Yeah, let me finish
okay,
this time.
okay.
What I'm trying to say is people have business and dealings in their communities that they run in, whoever these people are, right? And let's just make believe we're talking about church folks, and that's vast. That's really vast. We could be talking about royals, because if you're a royal, if you're part of any royal family, there's a protocol on what you can wear, how you got to eat, how you got to stand. Their family has rules and regulations that you got to live by if you're in that family. And unless you're going to renounce your throne or your right to anything in that family, this is how you're going to be found behaving at all times. In public and private, you're going to have on the royal uniform, whatever that is for you. You're going to be caught smiling and speaking and waving or doing whatever. You can't just do what you want to do. It's not a free for all. And this is an energy and a vibration that they have pushed off on the masses to keep the masses from forming families, because powerful families, become the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Kennedys and the Bushes and the Clintons. That's what that's what a family does. Or at the very least, it corners the whole market in a particular region, a particular township or city or county or state or whatever. Because that family, they grew sugar cane, and then they built a sugar cane mill, and that mill grew and grew and grew, and they bought more land and grew more sugar cane, to the point where they supplied the whole southeast with sugar cane. you know, with cane sugar and molasses and so on and so forth. So those at the top, those royal people at the top, they are afraid of us forming solid families. So they want to keep us with the do what the hell you want to do, say what you want to say, you know, extreme, gross, you know, unbridled liberalism, because that destroys the family structure, because there's no boundaries there. There's no, you got to do this way, that way, and the other way. Because I'm like, at what point then is there anything orderly that can happen if your kid can do what they want to do? Because that's ultimately what you're saying, is that let the kids do what they want to do, not let them. You tell them what to do, and then if they don't want to listen, then they don't have to listen, but you still got to take care of them. And you taking care of them shouldn't be based on whether or not they're listening or not. The royals don't even do that. The people that's
Right.
controlling everything on the planet don't even live like that. The way they keep all the money on the planet and control of all the people on the planet is they got some extreme rules that they live by. And your ass can't go outside of those rules because you're going to fuck it up for everybody. Excuse me. Oh, we're on air. Sorry. Beep. You're going to mess it up for everybody. Sorry.
Man, we've been cussing. You good?
Yeah. But that's where my
Yeah.
mind is going with it. I understand
Right.
how somebody might feel on a personal level, but my mind is always thinking about, because again, I'm a father, I'm a husband, you know what I'm saying? I'm 39, so my mind is always thinking about, you know, building the empire with my family, me, my wife, my children, you know,
Would
businesses,
you go to the
you know,
doctor though?
quietly accumulating.
Would
And
you go to the doctor with your daughter and
we
demand
don't,
that she
we don't,
sign paperwork?
that's not a vibration I'm on.
Okay.
That's not a vibration I'm on. But I don't understand where he came, because I can see a scenario in my mind, because I'm a Libra moon, and I always think about things from both sides, both points of view. I can see scenarios where that man might want to do that. That's why I want to hear his why. I'm not sure why he felt the need to do that. I can see some reasons why he might want to do it. That's
He
not
need
what I
help.
that's not what I choose to do.
Again, that's
But
that's why.
I'm not in that man game room, so I don't know.
He
And,
need
and
help.
in that same vein is why I came to the conclusion I did. The first thing I said was, I'm with him moving like that. I'm guessing that he plans on marrying her. It's an arranged type of deal, arranges some type of deal where she's going to marry into royalty, or something like that. Like
Mhm.
that's basically what uh, Chris got into, because
So I mean,
that's how you got to think. Like that whole do what you want to do. That's and just love,
I,
just love.
a
That's
lot of
broke
things
people
that we
stuff,
did in
man.
ancient times, I don't agree with.
Yeah, but the
A lot
old
of stuff
days,
we do today, I don't agree with.
I
yeah,
mean,
but
I
the old
understand. I agree too, but I don't anything that.
you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater though. I understand some of the stuff was barbaric. No, I'm just I'm saying, like,
Yeah, that's a
in the
fact.
old days, things
Wait,
was
you
good in the
took it
old days.
old school. He said you
Listen,
can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
yeah, because that's what happens is, you know, there was some hurtful things that happened in the past, and then we, in an attempt to get rid of that stain and that sting, we go all the way to the opposite side of the pendulum, and but we're still in balance when we do that. So we got to find balance. You know, we don't want to throw that baby out with the bathwater, because in the old days, that's when life was good. That's when we was owning land. You know, we had
Facts,
family businesses, and
facts.
you know, we had actual gold, and you know, we
Okay,
were
but that
sailing.
doesn't.
Wasn't all
Everything
these
wasn't
single
always
mothers running
just
around.
Well, no
just
single
be,
mothers.
everything wasn't okay. I get what you I get what you guys are saying in certain contexts of things, but again, I'm all for the mental health of the
Absolutely, I am
situation,
too. I
of
am
the
too.
situation. And though it's always about, like I said, intentions and the way that you do stuff. There's a way that you can request information for your children or guide them on a certain path or stop them from doing something crazy without, listen, I don't really know too many children. I mean, unless it just depends on their cosmological lineup, that when you police them so hard, it's going to stop them from doing what it is that they're trying to do anyway.
But these
You know,
people
it's
don't.
just like a woman that's trying to stop a man from cheating or trying to find out if he's cheating and stop him and make him commit or whatever. Naturally, anything that you just try so hard to.
You went out, Lottie, if you're still talking.
I hear.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Naturally, anything that or any type of relationship that you have and you're trying to make somebody do something or you want them to have a certain outcome for your own whatever, there's going to be resistance that comes with that. If that's not what necessarily lines up with what they want. You know what I'm saying? So again, we're going back to the fact that she doesn't like that. She doesn't like the fact that her father asks for the documents from the doctor. Maybe she would like if they can, they can have like maybe just quarterly talks or something where he can be like, hey Deja, you know how everything going, blah blah blah,
All right,
whatever.
so she
However
can.
you
So
want to,
if she feel like lying, she can lie, right?
huh?
No, I ain't say nothing.
Say that again.
I ain't say nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm messing
So
with you. I said if she feels, I said so. If she feels like she can lie, she can lie. And she might not want him knowing everything. So
I mean, and that could be true, but again,
right, but who gonna bail her out of trouble if there's something going on that he needed to know, but then she keeping it from him, and then at the end of the day, who's expected to bail her out of trouble? Daddy.
but who's to say that she's gonna get into trouble?
If I mean, there's a world of trouble to get into out here.
I mean, but what if though she fully understands that that's not what she wants for her life, and you have done a great job as a parent, and again, because we can only, like you said, and I get totally what you're saying now. You can only kind of speak from your experiences and what you've seen and done all these different things. And I guess I'm kind of speaking from that perspective. I have never been pregnant. I've never have had to burden my parents with being early quote unquote grandparents. So all of the worrying and policing and making me putting me on punishment because you think this and that, it was for nothing. Because here I am 28 about to be 29 and I'm doing really well. So it's like you have to just trust yourself as a parent to know that and get to know your children individually, because that's true. All children are not the same.
But that's the point I'm coming to right there. Like with 7 children, I have children that I don't have to say nothing to twice. They just easy. And then you have those kids, they easy on some stuff and they hard on other things. And then you got the ones that just don't want to do nothing. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to listen. They're hard headed. They want to do what they want to do. And they're going to find any way to do that. So you have a myriad of personalities that you're dealing with, and you can't deal with them all the same way. One person might see one side of you, primarily, and the other kid sees a whole nother side of you primarily. You might get done really dealing with one, laying down the law with one, and then you turn right around to the other one with a big old smile and a hug and a kiss. It's just because they warrant different energy. And so that's why I'm looking at T.I.'s situation like I don't know enough about what's going on in his family dynamic to really have much to say. But I do know this. These people on TV and their show is called The Family Hustle. So I think they're doing something right. They got us talking about them. They're relevant. People still tuning in and watching. Yeah, I think Deja might be in on it. I mean, it's The Family Hustle. They got to stay on TV. They got to keep drama stirred up. So it's working to me.
Hey, who knows, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the coin. It's all about the coin. But in you know, regardless of what, you know, their angle, I definitely want to I definitely wanted to touch on, in my opinion, you don't get those type of results from doing that. You don't. Or we can always say, just please learn that child. Learn if that child does need you to be involved like that, or if they need you to really just back up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They really just need you to just back up. So, yeah. You have to figure it out. I think we have a little situation with okay, excuse me. I spoke before I should have. So does that make sense to you, Tariq, what I'm saying?
Well, you got to run it back because I was having some technical difficulties. I got disconnected for a minute. So
Okay, I'm just saying, like, it's all about just having open communication, and also every child is different. You may have that child that you have to apply a little pressure to, or you may have to do certain things to get them to open up in certain ways. You may have to have that child that you do have to kind of like skim through their diary a little bit to see what is going on, to give you a better understanding on how to parent this child. Not so you can penalize them, but so you can better parent them and guide them. But I don't feel that you should ever, if they are actively saying that they don't want to do it, or you know, if there's any pushback, I don't think that you should full force continue to make them do it in that moment. Now, if it's something that they really should do, I think that you can pull back from it. But just the force of it all, I feel like there needs to be mutual understanding of their feelings on the topic as well.
speaking in general, for the most part, I can agree with that.
In general, yeah.
Yeah,
In general.
I can agree with that. Oh.
Okay. Now, I know this particular topic, you guys feel really strongly about it. You know, obviously, you guys are parents. I'm not. I'm only speaking from being a child and having a niece, and you know, growing up and just seeing what I would do different once I become a parent. You know, and in our community, sex is such a taboo topic. Like we don't talk about that with our parents. Like a lot of us learn sex from just experimenting or watching pornos. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like the lack of sexual intelligence is baffling. And it goes back to, again, T.I. not knowing that just because your hymen is intact, that doesn't mean that you're a virgin. So that is a whole different conversation. Like the topic of sex needs to stop being so shied away from in our community, and we need to really start talking to our children and the children about sex openly, and not allow this to be something embarrassing. Because
let me ask this though, because I'm not an expert as far as a woman's hymen and all that either. So if it was, you saying it's not a way to know for sure. But if it was, but you saying it could be not intact from just sports or something like that too, right?
Right. Riding a horse, exercising, stretching, doing the splits.
Okay. So if as far as being able, so what's the best way to prove that a woman is a virgin if it's an arranged marriage or something like that?
I mean, there's really no way to scientifically prove if a woman is a virgin. Now, you have these bizarre, like, 2-finger tests, this total invasion of sticking your fingers into your, young daughter's vagina to make sure it's still tight. It's no way to really tell if she's a virgin.
But it's a lot of women that got a lot of bodies and that thing's still tight, so that ain't no way to check it either.
Exactly, and this is what I'm saying. If you know the science of a woman's sexual organs and your sexual organs, I hate when people say, loose is loose. There's women who've had multiple sex partners that their vagina is not loose. There's women who had one sex partner that didn't know what he was doing and just mangle all type of stuff that's loose now. And she has to work on, building those muscles back up. So it really is no way to really tell. And that's what goes into, like I said, the ignorance of sexual education when it comes to our community. And that's what the doctor was trying to tell him. A hymen intact doesn't mean that she's a virgin. That means nothing at all.
I thought the doctor was saying she could have broken it during using other means. I didn't catch where he specifically told him that doesn't prove she's still a virgin. I missed that part.
Yeah,
if that's what the doctor told. I missed that.
Yes, he said that. You missed it? Like you didn't hear me, or?
Correct. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he said that.
Okay.
Yeah, he said just because the hymen is intact doesn't mean that she's still a virgin. You can tear the hymen, and that's when he went into the different ways that you can tear the hymen. Which it could have been torn. So, okay, let's say this. Let's say Deja went horseback riding that weekend with her sisters and cousins. And when he took her to the doctor to go to the gynecologist, and she signed that paperwork, and the doctor came back and said her hymen is torn. How do we go from there? Like, would have been the conversation from there? Dad, I didn't have sex, Dad. I was riding a horse, and it must have got torn. Like, how do you, like, what? I don't understand it. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, well, like I said, for the most part, so it sounds like for the most part, that's the only option, only means outside of just taking her word for it of verifying. Mind you, yes, it could have been broken other ways, but for sure, in his mind, he thinks for sure if it's intact, then that means it's much more likely that she is a virgin still.
Right.
So
in his mind.
Yeah. And I think I think just in general, period, it increases the odds. It makes it more likely. Would you agree with that? That it makes it more likely? It's not definite, but it makes it more likely that she's still a virgin if it's intact.
I don't. I mean,
I'm not asking you to agree with T.I. I'm saying, because I hear the wheels turning over there. Nobody's saying, do you agree with T.I.? I'm saying, does a hymen intact make it more than likely that a woman is still a virgin in general?
no,
Not even more likely.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it doesn't. That's what I said again. Again, we have men who can't even give a woman an orgasm trying to talk
Which does not
about
apply to me. Which does not apply to me. So I don't know
again.
where that's coming from.
No, just for okay, yeah, obviously, just for clarification, I'm not talking about
I have no erectile issues, and I have no women
I'm talking about
I don't
on
have an
the
issue satisfying women.
okay,
So let's put
okay,
that on
yeah,
the record right along with whatever you're talking about. You
okay,
got to make that clear now. We don't, people jump to conclusions. Just like when
right. I
people
mean, yeah,
read this
obviously,
about
I'm not
T.I.,
talking about
they
you.
think
I'm
they know
talking
everything
about
about his relationship with his daughter the same way.
right. What I'm saying is, obviously, like I said, I'm not talking about you. Like this is not, I don't. I'm very straight shooting. What I'm saying is, we have men in general, as plural, talking about a hymen being intact and not even understanding or educated themselves on the nature of a woman's body, and like you don't even know what you're talking about. Like no, that's out. Like that's completely out. Like a hymen being intact or not intact or whatever does not mean that anyone is a virgin. And the moral of the story is have better communication and not try to force things on your children that they may not like. Like they may not, and not only that, she's not a child. Like we're not talking about somebody who's 12 years old. Like you're not policing your 12-year-old daughter. Like we're talking about your 18-year-old daughter that, from what I've seen, has been a very respectable young woman. Like the way
I wonder why. I
don't think
you don't think T.I. has anything to do with that?
I don't think him making her gynecologist appointments and doing that is a reason why.
Of course not, but that doesn't sum up everything that he's doing or not doing. No.
Yeah, I mean this doesn't take away from other things about him that may be a good father, but this in particular, I just don't agree with.
And you saying the young lady is 18, and we already disagreed on that, but I personally feel if you still under my roof and I'm still taking care of you, then I'm still privy to certain information. And I can still tell you what you're gonna do and what you still have to follow the rules of the house. And if you don't want to follow the rules, that's when it's time for your 18-year-old tail to get a job, get your own place, and then you can do what you want to do. Example, like that goes, that's just speaking in general, whether we're talking about getting tattoos, getting piercings, curfews, whatever, having a boyfriend, having a girlfriend, whatever the case is. Like if you want to do all that, if your parent that is paying all the bills and doing all, taking care of all the responsibilities, they have a say in that. And if you don't want to listen to that, then it's time for you to step out in the world and have your own household to where you can be getting, then you can have a damn tattoo party at your place. But because I wanted a tattoo when I was younger. I seen my cousins getting tattoos. They had diamonds in their ears and all this stuff. I was like, man, they look cool. Let me do that. My dad was like, not while you're under my roof. And I had to respect it.
Yeah, that's wild to me though.
It's not. It's not. And guess how many
Okay, so if you
tattoos?
want to go ancient times, then why not? Why you
That
didn't?
ain't ancient, sister. I ain't that old.
But why you didn't tell your father that this was a tribal piece that you wanted to get?
I wasn't on no tribal nothing. And even if I was, I better have been paying some tribal bills if I'm gonna be talking about doing what I want to do.
Not
That's
some
that's
tribal
just a
bills.
fact. Because, but guess how many tattoos and piercings I have now?
0.
Zero. Zero.
Because you forgot.
No, I didn't forget. I have a keen memory. I got memories from 3 years old. I have a very keen memory. I didn't forget. I just didn't want them no more. I got past the, oh, look at my cousins with them and look at everybody else with them. I thought about it when I got old enough. Like, do I want this stuff? Nah, I don't want it. I thought about it to myself. I left the house when I was 18. I've lived on my own since I was 18. So, like, as soon as I graduated high school, I was maybe stayed in town like 2-3 months. Then I was gone. Could have got tattoos and all that. But nah, you gotta respect the house rules. We have to have rules. That's part of having a culture.
I mean, and most mental
Rules.
health counselors, that work with families are going to tell you the same thing.
Mhm.
You gotta have house rules, and you gotta have consequences for breaking the house rules. And
Well, then
that's what the mental
parents
health
need to
counselor is
have
going to
rules
tell
for
you.
themselves too. Then
No, he's paying the bills. He's a grown
no,
man.
what you don't listen. You
He can
don't get
have his
to
tattoos. He can have his piercings. He's a
no.
grown. My dad
See,
had me
and
when he
that's
was
what I'm
32
saying.
years
That's
old. What do I look like
You have a
at
problem with
15?
authority.
Yeah, what do I look like at
who
15?
I got a problem with
Telling
authority.
them
Oh yeah, major.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it says that all through my
like,
chart. But what I'm saying is,
let me
besides
finish right
that,
quick. My dad had me at 32. What do I look like telling a 45-year-old man what he can drink, what he can smoke, what he can get tattooed, what he can
I'm
get
not
pierced?
saying that though. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying in that aspect. But what I'm saying is, if parents don't think that a child, or let's not even use the word child, because it's like, it's just, that word is just so loose. Like, if you can't tell them what they've done wrong or the things that they are doing incorrectly, then like where's room for improvement on the parents' part? Because parents are not always right.
No, listen. So, what would be ideal, again, from my point of view, from the paradigm I have in my head, I can't speak and judge other people's paradigm, but I feel like a family should be able to sit down together and have meetings and talk, and everybody express themselves. And if you're having a problem, you got a space to be able to say what that problem is and have it addressed. Um, I feel like children should be able to walk in and ask for their parents' time and sit down respectfully and talk and say what's on their mind in a respectful manner, and and they talk through it. Um, I think the problem comes in, on two sides. Sometimes the problem is, you have an emotionally unavailable parent, who don't want to talk, because they're impaired emotionally and they don't have the tools to be able to, have a conversation with their children. With anybody really, most of the time when it's like that. And then on the flip side, you got a kid who's got a flip ass mouth and wants to try to boss up on you. And like Tariq saying, you don't support your own life. I gave you life, and I'm supporting your life continually. There's a measure of respect and regard that's owed to me because of this sacrifice. So, just if you come correct, maybe we can sit down and we can have a discussion. I think the problem comes in where disrespect comes in, and then right there, the whole situation is shut down. Because
And
all we dealing with right now is disrespect. I ain't even heard nothing you said. I just heard the tone of voice and the disrespect, and that's all I'm stuck on.
and the timing of it,
And
because
the and the timing,
you
right?
can't. If I'm the parent and I'm addressing some BS you doing, you can't be. Oh, well, what about you?
Right. No,
Nah,
no, 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 no. Yeah, thank
nah.
you for bringing that up, brother.
That's not how. That's not how that conversation goes.
Right. That's called being recriminatory. You're gonna try to flip it on me when I'm
Yeah,
already addressing you. And there's a order to that. You know what I'm saying? If you got something on your mind about me, you bring it to me first. Don't wait until I'm given a directive, right? Because I'm not asking you
Well, I mean,
to
that
clean your
depends
room.
though. If you saying something to me that you've just done, I'm definitely commenting on it.
What do you mean
I'm
that I've
definitely
just what do you mean that
and
I've just
see,
done? Well,
I'm
wait,
not
slow down. What do
I'm
you
not
mean?
talking about you personally. I'm talking about just as a parent.
No, that's
If
what I'm saying. Give an
Yeah, if
example.
my parent, and see, I ran into this a lot growing up, and I got in trouble a lot for this growing up, and I've made sure that I made a promise to myself that when I become a mother, I'm not going to do this to my children, because they have valid points.
What
If
is
you are policing me about something that you're doing, I don't want to hear it. Don't
well,
talk
wait a
to me.
minute. Wait a minute.
be
What
more
do you mean?
specific.
Like, be more specific. Give an
Okay,
example.
so if you're telling me don't smoke weed, and this is just something broad, this is not something that
You cannot believe what you're getting ready to say.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
No
If you
way.
smoke weed, how can you tell? So you saying that if you smoke weed,
I'm telling you not to smoke weed because I said so. You
Yeah,
can't
that's
do
wild.
everything. You can't do everything grown people do. Are you
But
serious?
okay, are we
Exactly.
talking
Come
about a
on.
12-year-old? Or are we talking about an 18-year-old?
I don't
Talking about
care.
somebody under my roof
Under
and
my
I'm paying
roof.
the bills.
So wait. Because
Because they don't know
Let's
why.
no,
They
wait,
don't. You don't know. No.
No,
No.
wait.
No.
Time
No.
out. Let's pause.
You
Let's
don't know
pause.
why I told you not to smoke weed. You don't know why I
No,
told you
wait.
that.
Let's pause for a second, though.
With
Let's
your
pause.
young ass.
So, okay. So what I'm saying is, because I moved out of my mom's house at 24 years old. So what I'm saying is, if your quote unquote child was staying with you up until you're 20, and I'm not talking about smoking weed in your house, like firing up smoking weed in your house. What I'm saying is, if you smoke weed and you're saying that because just they live with you, you have a right to police if they smoke weed or not, although
That's
you smoke
correct.
weed.
That's correct.
Lottie, here's the
That's
thing.
the craziest thing I've heard.
It's not. You can't go anywhere and do whatever you want to do. When you want to do
that's
what you want
wild.
to do,
I don't agree with that.
it's not your house. You got to get your own house when you want to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Wherever you're in somebody else's house.
Listen, real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Because instead of spending money to go out and smoke weed, save that damn money and get your own place so then you can smoke weed.
That's what? Okay, instead of you buying weed every week to smoke weed, why don't you take that money and invest it into something else instead of smoking? Like, it can just go on for levels. Like, I just don't understand.
It can't really, because I'm paying the cost.
Yeah, no, I'm paying for your grown ass under my roof.
The hypocrisy of it all.
How's that hypocrisy? How's that hypocrisy?
It's hypocrisy.
How in the world is that hypocrisy?
Everybody has their different level of parenting styles. Everybody has their different level of parenting styles. But this is probably why
that's not a parenting style. Letting the kid do what they want, call you on whatever they want to call you on. That don't even make sense.
But I'm not. Okay, so pause. Are you guys? Because I don't think that you're really understanding what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying by any means to have your children be out here gang banging, shooting up stuff.
That's not what we're saying.
So be clear, because I'm not saying.
But they can smoke a little tree.
I'm not saying it's a free for all. But how dare you, if you roll up and you smoke weed, try to really pester your child and tell
So
them
if I
that they
smoke
can,
cigarettes, that means you get to smoke cigarettes.
why would you even open your cigarette mouth to say anything to your child if you've always smoked cigarettes? Like,
Oh my
I don't get it. So y'all really go by this
So hold on,
toxic,
so
hold
hold on, I got a good
do
one
as
for
I
you.
say, not as I
Hold
do
on.
style of parenting.
I drink beer and I drink gin and juice, right? I don't for real in real life. I'm just saying,
Right.
in my
Mhm.
make believe life, I'm Homer Simpson and I drink. Okay. Now my 19-year-old daughter or son wants to sit down with me and have
I didn't say that.
some
I didn't
hen and
say that.
coke. No, it's the same thing. The weed,
No, it's not. It's
hen
not the
and
same
coke.
thing.
Why it ain't the same?
Because again,
Wow.
I don't know, like, and I wish we had a caller to call in because it's like, I don't know why y'all trying to make it seem like I'm saying have your child in the house with you, parlaying with them, smoking, sniffing coke with them,
Okay.
and
No,
having this whole
okay,
rock star lifestyle. I'm not saying that.
Okay, so scratch that. They're not with me, but it's okay for them to be with their friends away from the house, having a glass of hen and coke.
If you do it though, we're talking about if you do it. That's the premises of everything.
There are things that are age appropriate. Like I may have sex with their mama every night, but they don't, that's not necessarily for them to be doing. They're not married yet.
But how do you know that though?
How do I know it's not necessary? It's not, well, because it's like they're not ready for what comes from a sexual union. Like if you're not prepared to take care of new life, then you probably shouldn't be having sex.
Okay,
that's
I
kind of
understand that,
smart.
but I'm talking
That's
about
kind of
let's stay
smart.
on the premise of
No, I'm
telling
saying
your child.
I thought you was asking me why they shouldn't be doing it. That's why I was telling you why.
Right, but I didn't mean like necessarily doing it like having sex. I mean like.
Oh, what you talking
I
about?
meant I should have been more specific. I meant like you doing something,
Mhm.
and you're actively telling this child they shouldn't indulge in said things.
You have age appropriate things. It might not be time for them to be indulging in that activity yet. It's not that you can't ever do this. It's that, hey, I'm well aware as the adult in this situation that you, my child, ain't ready for this right here. Therefore, under my roof, I'm telling you, look, no bueno. Not you. You cannot do this. Because I done raised you to this point. I know you better than you know yourself. And I know you can't handle this. Therefore, I'm telling you, don't do it. And I'm letting you know there's going to be some consequences if I catch you doing it. That's me trying to save your ass. That's me trying to protect you. By
But
drawing a
you're
hard
doing it though.
line. Yeah, because I can do it.
That's wow.
How?
I'm an adult.
It's called being an adult. Like the
No,
lines are
because
kind of
I'm
blurred.
really glad. I'm really glad that I was able to have a godmother that I was able to go to in confidence outside of my parents to talk to about certain things and experience certain things, because I'm telling you guys from experience, that policing stuff and that do as I say, not as I do, the Pluto and Scorpio generation, we're not going, like, we are not going for that. Like, that doesn't even sound, that sounds, you have to make it make sense to me. Like, there's no way that, now obviously.
The Pluto and Scorpio generation in a world of trouble too, though, if we look at it.
Okay, but we're also rebuilding a lot of what the Pluto and Libra generation.
I know. I acknowledge that, but at the same time, you're going too far to the opposite end of the spectrum. It's about balance.
Sometimes you have to do that, though. You have to, before peace is war. So
no,
sometimes
I understand.
you have to totally just do some shit that just goes against the grain so bad to really grasp somebody's attention. Sometimes you have to do that.
But it's not about grabbing nobody's attention. It's about healing for y'all
Well,
and for
I'm talking
everybody
about in
else.
certain instances, though. In this instance in particular, you can't tell a child to not do something and not think that not think that their curiosity is going to spark for it, and really ride them on not doing said thing if you are actively indulging in
What
that.
about the relationship that you built with the child and the love that we were talking about earlier? If all of that is there, then there's trust. And if your kids trust you and you say, nah, you don't need to
Right.
do this yet, wait until here. And if they trust you, then they're going to listen.
Of course.
Right?
That's a different story. Now that, of course, but I'm saying we're talking about on the aspect of if they want to do what you're saying they can't do, like smoking weed, for instance.
That's what I'm saying. If they want to do it,
Yeah.
the fact that
And
they
then it's
trust
like,
you.
but Dad, I want to smoke weed. Well, no, you can't do that while you're living with me, son. But Dad, it helps me, relieve my anxiety or, whatever. No, I just don't want you to go down that path and like, I can't picture how you.
Well, now you're replaying your childhood memories right now.
No, I'm not. I'm honestly not though.
Well,
I'm just trying. I'm trying to.
From?
I'm trying to understand what you guys like. I guess I'm trying to put them into perspective because I'm.
Yeah,
really
we're not barbaric. We're not barbaric. We're not saying,
Well, that's what Tariq said. So don't speak for him.
No, we joking. He joking too. It's not like.
No,
Don't
Tariq,
do it.
like if you stay with me, you can't do what you want. Like
no, that's because
because
that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it is what we're trying to say. But we're gonna sit down with our children and talk and teach and expand their mind and all of that. Like that's a part of the deal. Like we're not these parents that we had. I had those parents too. You're saying you had them. They came from that generation where their parents was like, do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Do what I say or else. And they weren't talking, wasn't no conversation explaining to you this, that, and the third. And guess what? Oh, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead. Go finish your thought. My bad.
Okay. And and sometimes do what the hell I said is the answer. Sometimes. Because guess what? Lonnie, you're going to find out when you have some children. There's no way to bridge the gap in the understanding of that child and you, the adult. There's too much that that's in the backdrop of your mind, which is driving you to tell them, no, 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 you can't do this right here. This is not in your best interest to do this right here. There's no way for them to even comprehend the why. They just won't get it. I don't give a damn how much you try to break it down. So in that instance, to save their little narrow asses, you tell them, no, you do what I said, period. When they want to keep bucking up and acting like they want to do it and just got to do it. There's no way to help them understand. Some stuff is just do as I say. That's all I'm saying. And that's from experience of being a parent that's liberal, that does a lot of talking, a lot of teaching, a lot of listening when I don't want to listen. You already know the answer, but you got to sit here and listen to them because they need that, and you go through all of that and you try to explain, they just still don't get it. And the fact of the matter is they won't get it probably until they're your age. And then it'll hit them like a ton of bricks once they got some kids and they're in the situation. Then they're like, oh, wow, this is what mama was trying to tell me. This is what daddy was coming from.
Facts.
Just like you do right now today on some stuff. Even though you got some problems with the way you were brought up, there's some ways that you were brought up that you reflect on and be like, oh, okay, this is why mama did this. This is why she said that, so on and so forth. Everybody has those epiphanies. There's no way they could have explained to us the situation. We just wouldn't understand. So I'm saying this to say I don't see a way around do as I say on some stuff.
even if it's followed not as I do.
Yeah.
Well, let me say
Maybe
this.
I just
Let
have
me
to
say
have
this.
children because I don't see that. I don't
Let
do
me
that to my niece. I don't live by that motto. You know, if I expect something of her, I'm gonna be what I'm expecting of her.
How old is your niece?
7.
So when she's 13 and she wants to have sex, you're gonna be like, fine, go ahead.
I wasn't having sex at 13, so I can't relate.
But you're having sex now, right? By that
If you
train of
say,
logic that
okay,
you've used up to this point,
okay,
unless
right.
you're
Yeah, I definitely have
abstinent,
sex now, right? Okay, so if she came to me and said that, then we would have a very deep conversation about sex in that moment. No,
Well,
of
Auntie,
course,
Auntie, I
would
get all
not
that.
tell.
Auntie, I get all what you saying, but
but this is what I want to
I
do.
got to jump on it. I got to jump on it. Auntie, he fine. He loved me. He told me we gonna blah 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 whatever. I'm gonna do it, Auntie. I'm just telling you. You gonna help me or what?
Wait, what happened?
You gonna help me or what, Auntie?
Help you do.
Because my mama tripping. You know, I need an alibi. I need to be able to. I need somewhere to do it, Auntie. Safe. You don't want me in these streets, do you, Auntie? I can come to your house, right?
Wait, what?
Auntie,
Okay, so
Auntie.
you're playing this scenario, right? So
Yeah.
of course, I'm never contributing to my niece lying to her mother. Number one.
But you had a safe space with your godmother, Auntie.
Right, but
Well,
she never encouraged me to lie to my mother. She actually encouraged me because I didn't ever finish the story. She told me to tell my mother that I was having sex.
Okay.
Okay. So when I went to go tell my mother that we was having sex, that was the first time that we actually even really talked about sex. So, that's a whole different story. You have to.
So what you gonna tell your niece though? She wanna have sex. She can't come to
I
your
would
house
want to
and lie
know
to you.
why she want to have sex.
All right, she told you all the why and all of that, and she's still gonna do it. So
I can't stop her. I mean, how am I gonna what like?
But what do
am
you
I
tell
going
her
to?
at the point where she says what she want to do? Does she have your blessing? Like you going, like how's that
No,
going?
I'm not. I'm not setting up a scene for my niece to come have sex in my house. That's 13 years old.
No. We already established that she can't come to your house.
Right.
That's deceitful. You're gonna have to lie to her mom, and you ain't gonna do that.
Well, we're saying the issue is by your logic that you have used up to this point, you have made it clear that you cannot tell her not to have sex because you're doing it, or you can't tell her not to smoke weed because you're doing it.
Absolutely, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is, if she's already coming to me hot and ready, how Chris is putting it, my next reaction would be we are about to have a meeting with your parents. This is something that needs to be talked about openly between your mother and your father and you. Obviously, there is not a healthy level of communication about how to transmute sexual energy or any of this. So this is a conversation that needs to be had delicately with your parents. Like, that's how I would handle this conversation.
But Auntie, all y'all are having, you know what I wanted to say. But Auntie, all y'all getting it in. Why we need all this conversation? Right. So I want to do what y'all doing.
Right, absolutely. So my thing was, I'm going back to.
Y'all already showed me the way, Auntie.
Where did this sexual urge just pop up within this 13-year-old? Like, is she being taught about sex and she coming to me as an auntie because this is something that she has been pressured not to do and it's becoming like an overwhelming pressure to do it? Like, what is it? And again, to put it out there, because obviously you asked me the question, no, I would not allow my 13-year-old niece to come have sex at my house just because I have sex at my house. No, I'm not doing that. We would really, again, get into a deep discussion about the powerful energies of sex, about transmuting sexual energy, and just different things that have to do with sex. But no, I'm not setting up a scene for her to do what she want to do. No, I'm not. But again,
Okay,
you're saying a
but setting
13-year-old. Now,
up a scene.
if my 19-year-old niece comes to me, okay, and that situation happens and she's with her little boyfriend or something, I'm going to talk to her about the seriousness of if this is her first time. It's different levels to it, you know, the seriousness of, you know, getting pregnant, diseases, all these different things. It's different variables to it. And again, still, I'm not letting you have sex in my house. So
let's say your 18-year-old niece, her parents have said you cannot have a boyfriend and you cannot have sex. So you think they would be hypocrites because they're having sex and they're together, even though she's in their under their roof though. They don't have any room to tell her she can't do that.
if she 18, you said?
Yeah, but she's under their roof, not paying any bills.
Yeah, I mean, it's different levels to that. An 18-year-old, come on, how the hell are you gonna expect an 18-year-old to not have sex with them? I mean, and you're not really teaching them about the significance of sexual energy. How you
Well,
gonna
we didn't
expect
say they
them?
were or they weren't. We didn't say they were or they weren't. We
Okay,
teaching her the significance of all that.
okay.
That's kind of a separate issue. Because you could teach her this necessity, you could teach them all that, and still your rule be while you under my roof, you're not having sex.
Yeah, that
But
definitely is
you're
weird.
saying they don't have the right to do that because they're having sex.
Yeah, that's wild to me. If they 18 or 19 years old and you telling them like you need to remain a virgin until you move out, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, if you want to go into, well, I mean, you just gonna let them just have sex all around the town, then we can go into back again. Where is the knowledge of sexual education? But that's wild to think that an 18 or 19-year-old, you know, you demanding that they remain a virgin, or the pretenses are if you don't remain a virgin, you need to get you a job and move out. Like that's crazy to me.
Well, all right. I wanted to touch on something that came up earlier. With something was said about, you know, the kind of parents people had and all this stuff. My parents was unorthodox. So while my father was very strict against tattoos and piercings, and I had to respect it, right? Because I'm under the man's roof. He could have had full sleeves, tattoos in both ears. Now this is my opinion. He could have had full sleeve tattoos, piercings in both ears, but he's saying you can't do this while you're under my roof. I'm not gonna say, but Dad, you got him. I'm gonna respect it. That's his house. He's providing for me. But my father found out. My father smoked weed since he would tell me. I used to make jokes about him smoking weed when I was like 3 years old. I go to the back room where he chill at, and I was like, "Oh, you back here smoking that stuff," and joke with him or whatever. I think I start smoking weed at 13, 14. When my father found out I was smoking weed, I came home high as a damn kite. He didn't just say first thing he did was ask me, and I told him the truth. Like, yeah, I've been smoking. What he did was twisted one up, and we smoked together, and we chilled. And later, to find out what he was doing was observing how I conducted myself under in that condition. And if I would have been in there acting a fool doing stupid shit, then he would have nipped it at the bud and said, no, you can't smoke. And I would have had to respect that. I wouldn't be able to pull the, hey, but you smoke, in my opinion, right? But that wasn't the case. So I was able to, indulge. I could chief right in my room. From that point. Like right in my room. I could chill out and chief. But so, it's my case is a kind of special case. But you know what? I wish a lot of times, because I think I had too much freedom. I had too much freedom. I have some things that I have to check myself on because I had all this freedom. And I wish he would have pulled the reins a little tighter. I wouldn't have enjoyed it then, but it would have worked out in the long run. So I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum to where, like I said, I wish I would have had a lot more restrictions than what I had, because I could just leave, come back home just about whenever. I did what the hell I wanted to do almost. So like I said, but when he did put his foot down on certain things, I had to respect it. And I did respect it. And so it's so from my experience, I got a fine line I got to walk, because with my son, he's not gonna get all the freedoms that I had. He's not. And I think he'll be better off for it. But I can't go too extreme either. And I don't plan on going too extreme either. And another thing I touched on earlier is, well, you let the men get away with all this. You let the males in the house get away with all this. They can speak their mind, do all this, but all the restrictions are put on the women. And that's like, another show into itself that I actually want to touch on is, are women more valuable than men, and why? Or why not? Because I think that's the root of that. That's the root of that.
Interesting. Yeah, we will definitely table that for another segment, because we know you and I could definitely go back and forth, I should say. So I think this was overall, however, a really good topic and subtopic. Just like Chris said, obviously we're all cut from different cloths and have our own experiences and understanding of things and stuff. And so I definitely just wanted to bring that topic up, because it was a hot topic that was going on, and y'all know I'm banned from Facebook as of right now. So
That thuggery.
Facebook doesn't like to hear the truth sometimes, even if you put a nice sweet cherry on top, But anywho, I want to bring that in because that was a hot topic that for the past 2 days. But no, overall, this was a really, really amazing segment. Appreciate the brother calling in, giving his 2 cents on if women should pay half of the bills or not. you know how I feel, guys. Save your money, ladies, and spend his money. No, but
80-20 rule. 80-20 rule. I'm all for it.
nah, I mean, in all seriousness, I'm definitely not saying to lay up and use men and get off on using them. You definitely have to bring something to the table as a woman and multiply whatever he gives to you, or you know,
There's no trust. That's why it's 50-50.
yeah,
Yeah.
nourish him and nurture him and all that good stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, y'all roll right past that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
That's my
that's a
summary.
fact.
There's no trust today. Like there's no I don't see the foundation of decency in people anymore. So, and I know other people feel it. If they don't understand what it is, they feel like, hey, I better protect myself. So the men
right,
like listening, like, okay, now the ladies won't be saving up all their chips on me. I'ma save some chips too. We both gonna save some chips. So we both gonna pay these bills equally. So
right.
if you decide you want to catch out, I'm not left high and dry. You understand? And if I decide I want to catch out, you ain't left high and dry.
Yeah,
But I
because
think
it's not the goal is not to leave anybody, bleeding and suffering out here.
no, it's
Just
never the
broke.
goal. Yeah. That's how it ends up, man, when people feelings be hurt at the end of a relationship. All this well and good, we on air talking about it, but the reality is, man, when people break up for one reason or another, it's usually pretty bitter.
Right.
Somebody can't let go,
Hmm.
and there's a child involved, usually end up in child support court, or you know there's a marriage, then we're talking about alimony and just all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah,
So you,
I'm never down for the bitter trying to get back. That's never been my
well,
style at
men and
all.
women doing it. It ain't just the
Yeah,
women
yeah,
doing it.
definitely.
Yeah,
It's sad. You know why? It's like I definitely don't want somebody who I cared about doing bad just because we didn't work out.
yeah,
You don't want to hear about something bad happening to that person or nothing like that.
right.
So it all points back to just us as people, men and women, just being cognizant of who we involve ourselves with. If you see that
There
person
you
got
go.
schemish vibes and they looking out for self, and it's the small stuff, you come over
Right.
to their house and they invite you over and they ain't cook for you or got some snacks and all that. The little things, you know. So just pay attention to people and how they move, and that just kind of tells you, who the person is. So just pay attention, Tariki. You ain't gotta worry about nobody using you for your retirement and your 401k and none of that. None of your investments, your Bitcoin and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know I ain't gotta worry. For one, I'm too
'Cause I'm a
much to deal
Virgo and
with.
I hate people. No,
I'm a lot to deal with, so people can't half-ass it with me. If they ain't all in, they gonna be gone pretty quick anyway. So
he said, I'm gonna rule you out before you even try. Can't
Yeah.
beat me.
All right. Well, that concludes this evening's Uncommon Sense podcast. Peace and love, people.
peace and love.
Bye. See you later, family.